Hey, welcome back to the Missouri Sports Network, MissouriSportsNetwork.com, where everyone has a home field advantage. Brought to you by Central Bank of the Ozarks, Doak Propane, Labor's Local 663, the Bank of Billings, Shelter Insurance Agent Grant Baker in Aurora, and Great Southern Bank. And as always, the Missouri State Highway Patrol reminds us to take that 3 seconds and buckle up. It's 3 seconds that could save your life. Be safe, be smart, and be here tomorrow. Continuing with our basketball previews, we welcome to the show here on the Basketball Preview Show at MissouriSportsNetwork.com, head basketball coach for the Ava Bears, Damon Seiger. And Coach Seiger, thanks for your time today.
Thanks so much for having us. We appreciate it. We appreciate the coverage and look forward to it.
Coach, 23-6 a season ago, district champions as well. Kind of put a bow on last season for us and kind of talk a little bit about what you lost to graduation and what you've got coming back and who maybe is going to have to step up.
Well, gosh, if you would have told me we would have finished up 23-6 at the beginning of the year, I would have taken it and probably ran. The previous year, we were quarterfinalists. We were 24-6. So we've really had two really, really good back-to-back seasons here at Ava High School. And, just kind of a situation where we've had some guys buy in. I say some guys, we've had total buy-in to what we're trying to do. And again, 2019 was a special year for us, not only in basketball, but of course we followed up with a semifinal run, a final run in the state championship football game. So, as far as who we lost from that year, I was a little concerned going into last year exactly where we were going to be. I knew we had a good core group of returning players, but we lost some real significant pieces off of that 24-6 quarterfinal run. No, we just kind of hit the ground running. It was a situation where, we missed those guys, but it was almost as if, hey, it was next man up type mentality. And we were really fortunate. We've got a pretty good player in Andrew Dalton that has really led us over the last several years. And, anytime you can return a kid that has already scored 1,000 points going into his junior year, now he's up over 1,700. That's a pretty good piece to be able to build around. And, we knew that he was going to be our staple last year, and we just need to figure out how to fill in and put pieces around him so that we would be successful. And we did just that. Guys bought into their specific roles. And, I think what we do specifically, it's really all about role identification. And once we can figure that out, we can be pretty hard to stop at points in time. No, we had a great run. We beat Willow and Hollister in the semifinals and the finals of district, and then ran into a very, very good East Newton team in the sectional round. And that was almost more of like a football score of 36-34. But I tell you what, it was one of the most fun games and probably spectator-friendly games and fun games to watch, even though we didn't, neither team lit up the scoreboard. Of course, with the COVID regulations and whatnot, we actually got to host that and to say that, I mean, our gym's not very big. And we packed, we probably had probably about 1,000 people into our small gym, and it felt like we were playing in front of about 10,000. The way our crowd was, not only ours, but East Newton traveled very well for the allotted tickets in which they had, and it was really just a great atmosphere and one of those deals where one team had to win and one team had to lose. Unfortunately, we were on the losing side of it, but it was not for lack of effort. It was not for lack of our kids putting their best foot forward.
Coming into this season, talk about who you've got coming back and what you've had to replace.
Well, we lost 6 seniors, some pretty good players all in themselves, but again, more role type players. I think of 2 guys that were really significant in our run last year, and Quentin Donnelly, who was really a knockdown shooter, shot about 40% from behind the arc. And then a kid, Mason Cole, who did not play as a junior, but come out his senior year. And he's an as athletic kid as I've ever coached. Just was our second leading scorer, just was able to finish around the basket, just really brought some good things to the table for us. As far as moving on this year into seeing what we can do. we returned three really good pieces. The aforementioned already, Andrew Dalton. Here's a kid that's a senior now. He scored 1,746 points in his career to this point. And beside him is a point guard who averaged over 6 assists a game last year in Blaine Mendel. And he's the type of kid that, I think truly has really came into his own. He started last year out and kind of hit the ground running. I mean, was a much different player last year as a junior than he was as what we had as a sophomore with him, and really understood and identified his role. We've got another senior, Ethan Donnelly, who is the younger brother of the young man I just mentioned, who was our knockdown shooter. And Ethan is no slouch himself. He can play, he can score, he can defend. Actually, last year he was probably our best defender down the stretch and took the opponent's best option away, and did a great job in doing that. So, you got those three key guys that have a lot of varsity experience returning. Makes you feel pretty good about things. Those are guys that are not football guys. So we've kind of had them in the gym here lately. So it's nice to have that mix. And I say that Blaine Mendel, he's a football player. He's a very good football player, but having Andrew and Ethan in the gym. And then we got a couple other seniors in Corey Heinlein. He's a kid that played a lot of JV for us last year, but he is a very skilled athlete. I look forward to him making some significant strides. And then we've got a young man in Connor Nelson, who also has made a lot of strides over the course of the summer. And I think he can factor into that mix as well for us.
Coach, you mentioned that, the football players and, the season that they've had the last couple of years, that's got to be a benefit, to all the programs to have the success that you're having in basketball kind of filters over onto the football field and vice versa when you've got those kids in those high leverage kind of situations. And I tell you what, there's going to be a lot of folks disappointed. I thought Andrew Dalton had graduated. I didn't realize he was coming back.
No,
big folks watching this going, oh, he's still there.
No, don't wish that upon us. He's a kid that I was fortunate enough to inherit him as a sophomore. But he played varsity basketball as a freshman. And I think that's part of the reason he's at the point total that he's at to this point in time. But no, he's around. I think he's getting some college interest. Obviously there's some decisions that have to be made at some point in time with that. But no, he's a very talented young man, and we were blessed to have him. And maybe even more so, he's just a great young man to have around. And I know have a young man. I've got a young man coming into our program as a freshman this year, and I can't think of a better leader for him to be able to look up to, and kind of take on that at some point in time than Andrew has for us.
Looking at your schedule from last year and comparing it, you're also the athletic director there. Has your schedule changed much? Have you had to add or subtract any games?
It's changed a little bit. Obviously, with success sometimes creates some changes. Sometimes that's your doing, sometimes that's not your doing. But it's changed a little bit. We've changed around a couple tournaments that we're in, a couple regular season games, but for the most part, I think, across the board, it's stayed, obviously your conference is going to be the same, but we play some locally, what would be considered smaller schools that are very, good year in, year out. The Gainesvilles, the Mansfields, those programs are pretty good year in and out. And then this will be no different than that. And then of course you get in the SCA and, it's a dogfight night in and night out with those guys. You've got your Willows and your Mountain Groves and your Mountain View Liberties. Those are good programs and they're well coached, and you've got to be ready to play night in and night out regardless.
Outstanding. Go ahead, Coach.
No, I wanted to go back. I don't think I answered your question fully on, kind of what the success football has brought to the table, kind of been that table setter, if you will. I know 2 years ago, I didn't have a bulk of my guys until after that state championship run. We had actually had to cancel a few games, and then we were slotted to go over to the Mansfield tournament. And when we played on that Friday night, we played on that Friday. I gave them Saturday off, and they came in the gym on Sunday for one day of practice before we went over and won the Mansfield tournament. So, I think success breeds success, and we will be, we're football through and through right now. I mean, it's fall, it's football season. And I just made a comment the other day to one of my guys, said something about basketball. I said, hey, we're about football right now. We'll take care of basketball when it gets here. So no, it's been a great thing. And again, those kids we're just simply used to winning right now, and that has bled over into what we're trying to do as well.
Yeah, Coach Swaffer's got it rolling right now. It's 7-0. Beat, that Thayer win was a big win.
Yeah, huge.
Going in. And but Coach, we've been visiting here with Coach Damon Seiger, Ava Bears boys basketball coach. Coach, I really appreciate you being generous with your time today. I know this is you're an athletic director and an administrator, so you've got things that you've got going all day long, and I appreciate you being generous with your time.
No, absolutely.
You bet.
Anytime we can promote our kids, we're always going to try to take the time to be able to do that.
Hey, and anytime you need to promote anything, just reach out and we'll take care of it here at the Missouri Sports Network.
Appreciate it.
You bet. You're listening to the Missouri Sports Network, MissouriSportsNetwork.com, where everyone has a home field advantage. Be right back.